when I first came to Agama, I was blissfully unaware. And I was quite happy with where I was going and what I was doing, but then I realised to actually have any level of depth and really to truly cultivate awareness of every aspect of my life, that it was good to actually look in term to the internal world as opposed to focusing just on the extrasensory world, everything that was external really at that time. When I first got introduced to the healing benefits of yoga, when I used to do a lot of mountain biking. I did a lot of downhill mountain biking, and I was okay, I wasn't so good, I would crash a lot. And one of the times I took a big crash, this was in New Zealand, and I damaged the side of my body, and I knew I'd broken some ribs, and I wasn't really, I knew that if you broke ribs, I'd done it before, you can't do anything about it really. The doctors can't put any cast on it, so I just left it. Over the next couple of weeks, I realised that something was wrong on the right side of my chest. I was walking downstairs and I could feel something moving up and down in my chest, and I wasn't looking so healthy. I was like struggling to breathe and things like this, but I had a huge aversion towards going to the hospital. The classic old school male machismo, I can look after it myself kind of thing, no one else knows better than I do. And I finally, some friends said to me, you need to go to the hospital. So I went along to the doctor. The doctor tapped around in my chest and said, you appear to have no lung there. Your lung has disappeared basically. And it was like, at this point, I hadn't cried in many years, but I actually broke down. I was like, oh my God, what have I done to myself? Through total ignorance, I've created a little bit of suffering, And the x-ray of my lung they said it was 95% collapsed. So I got in hospital for 2 weeks with a chest drain in, they reinflated the lung, but it only came back to a certain size. It was about 60% of actually what it was, simply because of all the scar tissue that had gone around it. And so I didn't really want to sort of take that lying down, so I had a yoga teacher, and she recommended one of the things, as well as basically a simple full yogic breath, was Gomukhasana, which is, this posture, the pose of the cow face. And I hadn't really done that much at that time. I had shoulder problems before anyways, but I spent a long time doing that. So I had another x-ray about a month later, and I went back, and after about a month of doing this full power, the doctors were amazed. And simply because, I put it down to the full yogic breathing and Gomukhasana especially, because in Gomukhasana, the arm that's lifted, basically whatever arm is lifted, that side, the respiratory capability of that lung is essentially cut off. And so since this lung was collapsed, I did it on this side a lot, which basically ends up that this lung is essentially cut off for the meantime, and I'm breathing predominantly through this lung at that time. And I could feel there was a lot of pain involved in it because I was really trying to take full deep breaths. I went back to the doctors, and the lung was basically at that point was about 95% back to normal. And since then, I had the last x-ray I had was about 5-6 years ago, but it was 100% healed, and they couldn't actually see any scar tissue, which even they were amazed by, and the fact of going, wow, whatever you've done, basically exercise for the lungs, is amazing, Yeah, so I've recommended a lot of people the Agama course over the years, because it is wonderful to be able to see, and this is what I see more and more, and I've taught in many different yoga courses and retreats and things like this, and seeing people come pillar to post who have had problems, emotional problems, psychological problems, whatever it may be, physical problems as well, and who have gone from therapist to therapist, psychologist to whatever it is, and they're always looking for someone else to help them. And this is the beautiful thing about a yoga practice, not just the Agama practice, but very much the Agama practice as well. But a yoga practice, it puts the onus on the individual for a level of self-responsibility, and that instantly gives a level of self-empowerment. The onus is not on the teacher and the person who's passing that information through. It's like, you can teach the same information to 100 people, but it's what the actual individual does, and that is the most empowering thing, is the fact that they actually realise they've done something for themselves, and it gains that level of self-love, self-respect, self-empowerment, self-responsibility, everything. And then ideally, which is again that paradox in spirituality, self-transcendence, eventually.